Good morning, Liz Podians. My name is Neelan Marco Masala. Today I'm joined with Annamarie Preez, and we'll be looking at the opportunities and challenges of that. So I'd like to take a moment just to sort of get a background and introduction of my guest today, which is Annamarie Preez, as I previously mentioned. So you can just tell us about yourself, a bit of a background, and how you've ended up here.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Neelan. Hi, everybody. Yeah, so as you've heard, I'm Annamarie Preez. I'm the fancy name Assistant Director of the Health Sciences Library. It's called the Frick Scott Library. Frick Scott was a dermatologist, but okay, let me not get sidetracked by Frick Scott. So my other name is that I'm the head of the Frick Scott. So official name is Assistant Director, other name is just the head of the library. So I studied librarianship at the university. It's not a course that's offered anymore because that was what I always just wanted to do, Neelan. I'm a bookworm. If you see me not in the kitchen preparing food for my family, I'm reading a book all the time. So there was actually no other career choice for me than just being a librarian. So I was lucky enough to just the year after I finished my studies, there was actually a job opening at the University of the Free State Library and Information Services as head of the music library. And I was lucky enough to get that job. So I, immediately after graduation, I came into
Straight into that.
Yeah. Yeah, fantastic opportunity. So I was at music for about 4 years. It's just one department, so it's very small. So the management at that time decided to move me to this library, and I became a faculty librarian for all various different faculties. Ended up with NAS, Natural and Agricultural Sciences, and then when we started the postgrad research hub on level 6, me and Hesma were the two librarians there. I was there for a few years. I can't remember exactly how many, maybe 4 years, 5 years. And then there was the job opening at the Health Sciences Library, and I thought, oh, you know what? I started in a branch library. Once that bug is bitten you, you sort of get stuck in the branch library. And I was glad and happy enough, lucky enough for me through the whole interview process and shortlisting and everything that I got that job. So I'm now at Health Sciences Library, and I'm leading a team of dynamic women. We're an all-women staff. We do have student assistants like Neelan here. So we do have some male presence, but it's an all-ladies team, and I think we're doing wonderful things at the Health Sciences Library. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great to note that, yes, Annamarie is my boss, so I have a lot of motivation to impress her right now. But yeah, I guess my next question would just be, you mentioned that you're leading a dynamic staff of women. So I guess, what has that experience been like in terms of the library space, and what have you learned the most from there?
Yeah, that's quite a difficult question. So as a leader, it's important to sort of see your staff for who they are and their strengths, and just exploit their strengths. There's really very good, nice people there, and very knowledgeable. We've got Constance, who's our research person, and she's a strong person in that regard, assisting the researchers at the faculty with all sorts of researchy things. I'm making it easy, but helping them with their researcher profiles and their researcher ID, so that they as researchers are also known to the world. And we've got Malefu, who's our strong sort of undergraduate support person, and also interlibrary loans person. Sometimes when we do visits across the faculty, and Malefu is with, everybody sort of says, okay, the whole rest of the library can just go to sleep. They just want Malefu, and can maybe Malefu not have an office in the library. She's the one that gets articles when nobody else can. And then my front desk lady, sorry, is Miss Miriam. She's our stalwart. She's a strict security lady, and she knows the library circulation system very well. And we've got Rafulwe. Rafulwe is very knowledgeable about the circulation system, but she's also very good as a interview person. And we have the coffee talks once a month, where we sort of showcase one of the departments in the faculty, where Rafulwe interviews them, and their expertise can also be known to the world. And I think Rafulwe has a great job in mass media one day when she decides to retire as a librarian. There's a whole career for her. So yeah, So I don't know what I've learned from them. Every day I just stand in awe of this wonderful set of ladies, and together we can work to assist the faculty in their needs, information needs, whatever needs they have, research needs, training needs. Yeah.
Okay. So as someone who loves reading, personally, I love it, but I didn't visit the library until my third year ever, which I don't know if you'd be disappointed in that. But I guess my question would just be, based off of the fact that I only started visiting the library in my sort of final year and started actually realizing what a beneficial place it is. I just want to know, in terms of your framework, how would you see the library as sort of as a place? How do you view it?
Yeah.
What benefits does it have for students, and how do you see the library?
Yeah. So the first thing I must say is, as librarians, I heard this the other day, or I thought it for myself. We nudge, we don't judge. If you didn't use the library for 3 years, that's fine. So we'll just nudge you to now start using the library. No? I've got my own kids are some of my own kids are students on this campus, and I'm doing the same with them. They also don't actually frequent the library, and they make use of mommy to take out books. So also for them, I nudge them towards the library. We nudge, we don't judge. So the library is a space. So Neelan, you might remember what we were doing, me and you and some few other people, last year, around March, April. We were actually busy moving a library. So the Frick-Scott Library used to be housed inside the library, the faculty building. Then the dean graciously built us a whole new standalone health sciences library. But the catch with that is that you actually now have to move the library from where it was to where it's now. Right, so that took a lot of planning, and I made use of our student assistants, and we made use of staff members in this library, and we actually did that. We numbered the shelves, we boxed the books, we moved the books to the new venue, we numbered the shelves in the new library, and we unpacked the boxes, and we set up a whole new library on that site. So that was quite an interesting exercise and made me think about the whole idea of library as a space. And during that time, I sort of got to the idea that the library is mainly three things. We need a physical space. People want to know, where is the library? How do we access what's for us here? But people also need services, so they come for us, they need resources. If I say services, I actually mean resources. They either want a book or they want an electronic book. They want information from the library. And the third thing, they want people. They want to speak to somebody. They want to know, who is my librarian? Who is going to help me? If I can't get this article, who do I speak to? They don't want to just be left alone. If they use the self-checkout system, which is a very great thing we have in the library, but that thing sometimes says that there's an issue. You can't solve that by yourself. You need somebody to solve your issue for you. So the whole idea of a library as a space, it's one of the three main components of what a library can be defined as. So yeah, a library space, it's an important space. It's a space where students should feel welcomed. Do you feel welcome?
I
Hope you
quite
feel welcome. Students need to be warm. They need to have a place where they can maybe chill after they've studied a while. Where can they go to just sort of get out of the library a bit? So the space even around the library is very important, not just the inside. Even if you get to postgrad level and you have to stay the whole night because you have to study the whole night, is there a place where you can eat or even warm your food, warm your food? So the library is also taking on that role, yeah, as a more caring to the whole student and not just a place for library. Yeah.
Yeah, in my experience, I found that beyond just the scope of it having resources and information, it's quite a safe space. I mean, you might not necessarily directly interact with people sometimes. For example, the discussion room, you can directly interact with people. But just finding yourself in a common place with people can be quite comforting in a social aspect. So I guess I just wanted to follow up and ask, have there been any sort of experiences or situations where you sort of maybe had to go a bit beyond the scope of just the librarian that you are, like an experience you've had with a student or anything like that?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. In the previous library, we had it was a bigger building, so everything was a little bit bigger, and The bathrooms were also bigger. So strangely enough, we had a bed in each bathroom, male and female, with a whole bed with a mattress and a duvet cover and a pillow, everything. Because what happens at health sciences is the students work in Pilinomi. They're on call, so they have to work long hours through the night. So sometimes they come to campus and they're just plain tired. So the library is a space where they could actually sleep. So I had the situation once where the program director contacted me and she asked if she can bring over a student. Student was having a tough time mentally coping. You know, we always see the health sciences students and we think, oh, those are the fancy, clever people and they're going to be the doctors. But it's a tough course. It's a compacted course. They do it in 5 years. Most universities have it in 6 years. So it's really a tough course. And it takes its toll emotionally and psychologically. So the program director just asked me, can she bring the student so that the student can just have a bit of a lie down and just sort of relax a little bit. And that was for me a very sort of endearing, not endearing, but it was a situation that stayed with me because that's what the library can also be. It's more than a safe space. It's really a space where you can sort of heal emotionally. Yeah, that was eye-opening for me, that experience.
I can imagine. I'm hearing from that, especially since I was actually working at the time when we were moving.
Yeah.
I did see those beds and I was always curious. I was like, do they benefit anyone? And it's actually quite good to hear that people could use that and it maybe brought them some sort of sense of relief.
I think so.
The pressure that they were facing. I think another question I had, and maybe it's coming from my experience of obviously being involved in the library. Last year we had Africa Month, or a sort of day specific for like native or indigenous people. And I just wanted to know, because we had a program which we hosted at South Campus, right, where a lot of different cultures came and they did sort of performances. I wanted to know what benefit or help is there in terms of the library space for like marginalized or sort of minority communities.
Yeah, the library wants to be an inclusive space. So that's also important. So it's not just health sciences. We try and keep it for the health sciences students, but anybody can come and study there if there's space, just an example. But other things we also try and do. So a while back, we had a specific collection of HIV and AIDS books, and we had it at a specific place, and it wasn't well used. So suddenly we got the idea, but maybe people feel vulnerable. You know, they going physically to a specific shelf that's just on HIV AIDS books, they feel people are watching and judging. So what we've done with those collections, we do have special collections, we integrate them into the normal collection. So it's not me going to the shelf on HIV and people watching me and saying, oh, you know, that lady, there's something going on. So things like that. Also at Health Sciences with the coffee talks, the last 2 talks we had a massive, now my English is leaving me, people coming to attend that. And it's people, if you look at them just on face value, I mean, I don't know the lives of every person, but if you look at them, it seems like a group of ladies specifically who doesn't necessarily know where to go for health information. The first one was on stroke prevention, and the second one was on alcoholism. We don't say that. We say alcohol use disorder. So we had this massive amount of ladies coming to listen. And I thought that's also a wonderful place for a person who wouldn't necessarily engage with a doctor or with a medical person. But here they have the opportunity to get medical information without being vulnerable or exploited, just in a very easy way. You've been to the coffee talks. It's a very laid-back setup. Sort of like a conversation, and there's always coffee and tea and muffins. And these ladies could just sit in this calm and non-threatening atmosphere and ask any questions that they had in that regard. So yeah, that's also what the library does. And the weird thing is that's not even in the library space, but it's organized by the library. So I somehow claim the faculty space as library space, even though it's technically not my space.
I think it's interesting you mentioned that, because I was actually at that coffee talk. I think from my experience being to them, it's quite beneficial because when you're talking about vulnerable communities, we're also talking about maybe people who don't have the resources in terms of going to a hospital and being able to consult with a doctor or
Yeah.
expert in that field. So I think that is very beneficial because, like you said, it allows them to actually feel more open to asking specific questions and not maybe feeling the judgment of the fact that they don't know.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, these are people that don't know, and it's okay to not know, and that is an opportunity to sort of learn more.
Yeah.
Then I guess my follow up on that is you mentioned how you sort of restructured the section in the library with regards to the HIV section. So, in terms of the structuring of the library and the books, is there a lot of thought process? Is there a lot of strategic planning that goes into how you've structured the library, how you've put everything out, maybe to make it sort of more of a conducive environment for studying or for feeling involved?
Yeah. So the new health sciences library, there's 2 levels, and the lower level is where we have all of the books. So we have a special the shelf for the reserve collection or the study collection, which students use often, and the other books are just there. And then on the top level, we have a study space, and it's different sort of ways of studying. So it can be at a single table, there's maybe 6 chairs, or there's personal study booths, or there's tables that sort of has a divider between you and the next person, or there's discussion rooms, or there's more open seating. So we try to accommodate different learning styles, but definitely upstairs you have to be quiet because people can glare. Even when we talk a bit loud, we get stares and glares because the health sciences people, they are very uptight when it comes exam. They're very stressed. So we have to be conscious of not infringing on their study time. So people like to use the health sciences library because it's so very quiet on the top floor, and people feel when they sit there, they'd better study because look at all the people giving a good example of sitting and studying, so they'd better also use their time well and study. But in terms of how the rest of the layout, so we also just use the Dewey Decibel classification system. So I don't think people learn that at school anymore. But what it boils down to is that the books on a topic will all be together. So that makes it easier also for students to find books. So if it's on, I don't know, pediatric anesthesia, all the pediatric anesthesia books are together. So even if you don't find the specific book you want, other books that's similar will be in the same area. So this library is also the same. So if you just get the hang of the Dewey Decimal classification system, then you're going to be fine.
Yeah. No, that's quite interesting to now being on sort of the receiving end of this information to see the thoughts and planning that goes into it, because I just sort of get there and find it, sort of done. And I just wanted to know, which is when you guys are having your meetings or strategic planning, is how much involvement is there from all of the staff, if I can get sort of a gauge on that, because you did say you have a dynamic team. And how much does that benefit the library?
So luckily we're part of the mothership. We call it the mothership. So this is the Sasol library where we're in, and the Sasol library is obviously larger in terms of functionality and staff, and we're in the beautiful Liz pod as we speak at the moment. So luckily our staff is part of a bigger community. So we also have many opportunities for getting all the voices together. We have communities of excellence that we're promoting this year. Well, it's an internal staff thing where we create little communities of excellence, as the name says. So if somebody knows a lot about what we call bibliometrics, we make a little groupie, and everybody who is interested can join that. You don't even have to know anything. You'll just learn from that community. So we learn from one another. So there's that nice learning culture in the library. So if you don't know anything, that's fine. You can join one of the communities and you'll grow in that learning process. But I also wanted to add, we also have a great marketing team in the library. Our head is Kegu, and they do lots of outreach also to schools, and they involve everybody. So oftentimes my staff or staff from this library would go, they do outreach at schools, they help to actually create libraries in those schools. We use old shelves that this library doesn't need anymore, or when Frick's got cleared out, those go to schools, and we take some schools